Listen to me for a second. I'm about to tell you something about why so many women are unhappy. Something that will change how you see every sigh, complaint, or eye roll your woman throws at you. And before you roll your eyes thinking this is some anti-woman talk, it's not. What I'm about to say comes from years of watching relationships crash, including my own, and noticing patterns that repeat so often, they might as well be laws of nature. There is something inside the female mind, a kind of built-in program that has been running since childhood, that makes a lot of women feel constantly dissatisfied, no matter what's happening around them. And unless you understand this, you'll waste your life trying to solve problems that don't have external solutions. You'll apologize for things you didn't do, twist yourself into knots trying to fix what's broken inside someone else, and slowly become that miserable guy walking on eggshells in his own home. You'll keep trying to fill a bucket that has no bottom. You know the line I hear most from married men? Nothing I do is ever enough. He brings flowers, wrong color, plans a date, wrong restaurant, helps around the house, doing it wrong, doesn't help, lazy, works hard to provide, he's never around, spends more time at home, he's not ambitious, it doesn't matter what he does, it's always wrong. Every move, every word, every silence gets criticized. But here's the key. It's not really about him at all. That's what most men never realize. Once you see that, you stop trying to fix a storm you didn't create. I learned this the hard way. For about 5 years, I dated different women. Different looks, jobs, ages, personalities. But the same pattern every single time. At first, everything felt perfect. Then, little by little, that same wave of unhappiness crept in. The first woman said I wasn't romantic enough. So the next time I went all in. Flowers, handwritten notes, surprise weekends. Guess what? She said I was too soft, not masculine enough. Third time around, I became more assertive, made decisions, led more. Then I was told I didn't care enough about her feelings. That's when it hit me. The issue wasn't what I did. It was something inside them. The unhappiness was already there, waiting to come out. These women weren't reacting to me. They were acting out a script written long before I showed up. It's like there's a factory setting some women are born with. Their brain leans toward what's missing instead of what's there. They don't even know they're doing it. Some of it is genetic, wired in from birth. Science even backs it up. About half of your personality traits come from your parents. Some women are literally born with a brain chemistry that tilts toward negativity. Their natural resting state is, something's wrong. They can win the lottery, marry their dream guy, and still feel something's off. I've seen it across generations. Grandma always miserable, mom always complaining, now daughter doing the same. They could be surrounded by love and abundance, but their mind will still zoom in on the one thing that isn't perfect. It's not a choice. It's a setting. But genes are only part of it. The deeper cause starts in childhood. There are usually 2 types of stories behind every chronically unhappy woman. The first is the father wound. Maybe her dad wasn't around. Maybe he was cold. Maybe he was there but emotionally distant. She grows up with a quiet anger toward men. Not always conscious but always there. Deep down she expects men to disappoint her, to let her down eventually. And because that belief runs her world, she either picks men who fulfill it or pushes away the ones who done tea until they do. Even the best man will eventually look like the enemy because she'll find something wrong. She has to make her story stay true. The second story is the mother model. She grew up watching her mom complain about everything, her father, her job, her life. Mom was never satisfied, always finding flaws, never resting, and the little girl absorbed it like oxygen. She learned that this is what being a woman looks like. You criticize, you control, you never stop wanting more. Even if she promises herself she'll never be like her mom, she ends up repeating the same sentences years later. Same tone, same resentment, same unhappy energy. Because that's what feels normal. We don't always choose happiness. We choose what feels familiar. Then comes the fantasy problem, the impossible expectations. Modern women are drowning in them. They were raised on fairy tales and Instagram stories that told them relationships should feel like a movie every day. The man should be a mix of prince, therapist, personal chef, and millionaire. And when real life shows up, bills, chores, routine, the gap between the fantasy and reality becomes unbearable. I knew a woman once. Let's call her Anna. She was smart, beautiful, had everything going for her. Married a good man who adored her. He wasn't perfect, but he was solid. 6 months in, she was miserable. Why? Because she thought marriage was going to heal her. She believed once she found the one, all that old pain would disappear. But it didn't. So instead of realizing happiness was her job, not his, she blamed him. Said he wasn't romantic enough, successful enough, exciting enough. It's a pattern I've seen over and over. People mistake emotional emptiness for relationship problems. They try to fill inner holes with outer things. And when that doesn't work, they keep changing partners instead of changing themselves. Then there's the social media curse, the comparison disease. Every woman today lives in a world where she is constantly seeing other women as highlight reels. Perfect vacations, new homes, engagement rings, gifts, smiling kids. She doesn't see the fights, the debt, the nights those couples sleep back to back. She only sees the fantasy. So even if her own life is good, it never feels good enough. I've watched this destroy marriages. The husband's working his ass off, giving his best, providing a comfortable life. But she's scrolling through Instagram thinking she deserves more. She doesn't see that half those perfect lives are fake, filtered, and financed by credit cards. She just feels like she's losing a game she didn't even sign up for. And even when she gets everything she said she wanted, it doesn't last. There's this built-in mechanism, call it the devaluation switch. Once something becomes hers, it loses its shine. She wanted a boyfriend, got one. Now she wants marriage, gets married. Now she wants something different. The man she once adored becomes boring. The same jokes that made her laugh now annoy her. The same steadiness that made her feel safe now feels dull. Nothing changed but her perception. And she doesn't realize this pattern lives inside her, so she blames him again. I've seen women sabotage perfectly good relationships because their brain keeps whispering, "This can't be it." They chase a feeling that doesn't exist, a constant high, and when reality feels too normal, they assume something's wrong. Now layer all that with comparison and envy, it's a perfect storm. Every day she's seeing what she thinks other women have. Her co-worker's husband bought her a necklace. Why didn't you? Her friend's man booked Paris. Why can't we? She never looks at the full picture. Maybe that friend's relationship is falling apart. Maybe that husband's miserable. Doesn't matter. Her mind filters out the truth and zooms in on the lack. And the worst part? Many women don't even realize they're wearing masks. Since childhood, they've been told to be who people want them to be. Soft, sweet, sexy, strong, whatever gets approval. So, they perform. They play a role to attract a man, then resent him for not seeing through it. They pretend to be chill when they're controlling, act sexual when they're not, pretend to love cooking when they hate it. Then years later they explode under the weight of their own act. That's why so many end up bitter. They're exhausted from pretending, but they can't stop because they think if they show their real self, no one will love them. So they stay stuck in the same loop. Fake, resent, complain, repeat. I've watched this happen again and again. Good women trapped in bad programming. Unhappy not because life is bad, but because their minds won't let them see the good. They live in stories they didn't write and don't know how to escape from. You'd be surprised how many women have no idea who they actually are without the roles they play. They spend years trying to live up to what society, friends, or Instagram says they should be. They're told to want it all. The career, the husband, the house, the perfect body, the freedom, the kids, all at once, without dropping a single ball. So they chase everything and end up feeling like failures because no one can juggle all that. The truth is, most of them never stop to ask themselves what they really want. They just follow a script that says success equals happiness. But deep down, it doesn't. So even when they reach the goals, the job, the family, the lifestyle, it still feels empty. That's where the quiet resentment starts. They think, I did everything right. Why don't I feel happy? I knew a woman like that once. She had the so-called dream life. Great husband, nice home, stable career. But she'd sit on her balcony at night drinking wine, scrolling through her phone, looking miserable. One night she told me, "I don't even know why I'm unhappy. I just am." That's the scary part. Most of them can't even explain it. The dissatisfaction has no target. It's just there. And when you're a man in that situation, you become the easiest place to aim it. Every small thing becomes proof that you're the problem. You didn't listen enough. You didn't say the right thing. You didn't notice her new hair. You didn't read her mind. It's endless. You start walking around your own house feeling like a guest who could be kicked out at any time. You question yourself constantly. You stop being yourself just to keep the peace, and the worst part? It doesn't work. Because her unhappiness isn't a reaction, it's a pattern. It was there before you. It'll be there after you. And the more you try to fix it, the more she loses respect for you. She starts seeing you as weak, as someone she can control emotionally. You're not her partner anymore. You're her emotional punching bag. Another layer of this mess comes from what I call the superiority complex modern culture feeds women. Since childhood, they're told they're special. Goddesses, queens, prizes. Men, meanwhile, are told to prove their worth, to earn love, to chase. This sounds flattering at first, but it ruins relationships. Because when someone is constantly told they're above others, they can't truly connect. You can't love what you secretly look down on. I once dated a woman who used to say, "All men are trash." Not joking. She said it casually like it was obvious. But then she'd complain that she couldn't find a good man. I told her once, "You realize you can't love someone you don't respect, right?" She didn't get it. She wanted connection but treated every man like a servant who should be grateful for her attention. The result? Constant emptiness. Because you can feel loved if you don't believe anyone else equal to you. Many men experience this without realizing it. They think they're doing something wrong when really, they're in relationships with women who see them as tools for validation, for security, for stability, but not as equals. Those relationships always feel cold no matter how much effort you pour into them. Then there's the emotional chaos some women create without realizing why. She says she wants peace but picks fights. Says she wants love but pushes it away. Says she wants stability then causes drama. It's not conscious manipulation. It's unconscious addiction. She grew up around chaos, so calm feels wrong. Her nervous system doesn't trust peace. If things are too quiet, she'll start a storm just to feel normal again. I've seen women do this even in great relationships. They'll twist something small into a massive argument because deep down, happiness feels unfamiliar. It's like their brain whispers, "This can't last. Better ruin it before it ruins me." They confuse calm with boredom, safety with stagnation. So they create chaos, not because they want to lose, but because that's the only game they know how to play, and the world around them only makes it worse. Everywhere they look, they're told to compare, to compete, to upgrade. If they have something good, they're told they deserve better. If they're content, they're told contentment is settling. So even when they have love, security, comfort, it's never enough. There's always something more they think they should have. It's what I call the greener grass on steroids mindset. The modern world pumps it into women from every angle: TV, Instagram, talk shows, movies. They see their friends getting engaged, having babies, buying houses, and every post feels like a personal reminder that they're behind. It is not that they want what others have, they just feel wrong for not having it. And it doesn't stop with relationships. It bleeds into everything: the job, the house, their looks, their body. The constant message is, you could be better. So they live in a constant state of chasing. And when you're always chasing, you never feel like you've arrived. Now throw in biology, the ticking clock. It's like a silent timer in the background of every thought. If she's in her 20s, she's stressed about finding the right guy before it's too late. If she's in her 30s, she's anxious about time running out. If she's in her 40s, she's regretting choices she can't undo. No matter where she stands, she feels behind. I remember a woman in her late 30s once telling me, "I did everything right. Good career, independence, all the goals. But now I realize I built a life that doesn't make me happy, and it's too late to change." That line stuck with me. She wasn't angry at anyone, just tired. She'd followed a script that promised happiness, and it lied. Then there's another side, the testing and manipulation that come from insecurity. A lot of women don't mean to manipulate. They do it to feel safe. They test men to see if they'll stay, to see if they care. But the constant testing kills trust. They push boundaries, start fights, play games, and then complain that the relationship doesn't feel peaceful. They don't see that they're the ones creating the chaos. It's tragic, really, because they're doing it to feel secure, but all it does is push real security further away. It's like burning the house down to check if the fire alarm works. Then there's what I call the princess programming. It starts early. Every little girl is told she's special, destined for a fairy tale. The prince, the castle, the perfect life. Then she grows up and reality shows up. A husband with flaws, bills to pay, mornings that smell like coffee and stress, not flowers and candlelight. And instead of adapting to reality, she feels cheated by it, like she was promised magic but got normal life instead. The truth is, most men can't compete with the fantasy in her head. You can't out-romance Disney or outshine Instagram filters. Real love is imperfect, messy, repetitive. But to a woman raised on endless validation and fantasy, it feels disappointing. Add money and work to the mix. That's another trap. They've been told they can have it all. But life doesn't work like that. Everything costs something. Career success means less time for family. Family means less time for career. Security means giving up adventure. But no one tells them that. So whatever they choose, they feel like they're failing. The working mom feels guilty for not being home. The stay-at-home mom feels worthless for not earning. The woman doing both feels like she's drowning. I've seen so many women who have it all on paper but are miserable inside, because they believe if one area isn't perfect, they've failed. That is the dark side of the "you can do anything" message. It becomes, you must do everything. And nobody can live under that pressure without breaking. For a lot of women, unhappiness becomes their identity. It's how they bond with other women, over complaints, not joy. It's how they get attention. It's how they avoid accountability. Being the victim gets sympathy. Being happy gets suspicion. And after a while, they don't even know who they'd be without their misery. I've seen this so many times. The moment you try to make an unhappy woman happy, she gets worse. You fix one problem, she finds another. You meet one need, she invents a new one. You give her everything and she feels emptier. Because she doesn't actually want resolution. She wants the feeling of struggle. That's her comfort zone. If peace arrives, it feels foreign. And therapy, which should help, often makes it worse. Instead of learning gratitude or responsibility, some use therapy to find new ways to justify the same patterns. They learn fancy words for their unhappiness: gaslighting, trauma, emotional labor, and use them like weapons. Instead of healing, they collect diagnoses like trophies. I knew a couple like that. The woman had been in therapy for years. Instead of getting better, she became more entitled, more critical, more unhappy. Her therapist gave her language to make everything her partner's fault. He wasn't validating her enough. He was emotionally unavailable because he came home tired. He was toxic because he disagreed. She didn't grow. She just learned to hide behind the vocabulary of victimhood. It's strange. The more people talk about healing, the less happy they seem to be. Because healing isn't about blaming the past. It's about taking responsibility now. And responsibility is the one thing most people avoid, because it means giving up control over others and taking control of yourself. You see, that's the real issue underneath all of it. Most unhappy women aren't too bad people. They were just stuck in patterns they never learned how to break. They confuse healing with blaming, growth with complaining, and self-awareness with self-absorption. They don't want to fix the problem, they just want to talk about it forever, because that keeps the spotlight on them. And the world keeps rewarding that. Every song, podcast, influencer, and therapist says the same thing. You're perfect as you are. But that message is poison. If you believe you're perfect, then every bit of unhappiness must be someone else's fault. And that's how they live, always finding someone to blame for the emptiness inside. Meanwhile, men are out here breaking their backs trying to fill a void they didn't create. I've seen it so many times. Good men losing themselves trying to make unhappy women happy. They think maybe if they work harder, earn more, say the right thing, do the right thing, she'll finally smile again. But she won't. Because what's broken isn't outside her, it's inside. And you can't fix that for someone else. It's like pouring water into a cracked glass. No matter how much you give, it leaks out. And eventually you get tired. You stop laughing. You stop feeling strong. You stop being you. You become a watered-down version of yourself, living for her moods, walking on eggshells, hoping today won't be another day of what's wrong, with no answer that satisfies. That's how a lot of men lose their confidence, not because they're weak, but because they've been told for years that love means responsibility for someone else's emotions. But it doesn't. Love isn't about fixing someone who refuses to fix themselves. It's not about apologizing for things you didn't do. It's not about giving until there's nothing left of you. The hardest truth is this: some women are just not capable of happiness as they are right now. Not until they decide to face themselves honestly. Until they stop pointing fingers and start looking in mirrors. Until they stop chasing fantasies and start appreciating reality. Until they stop expecting someone else to make them feel whole. I've learned something over the years. You can tell a lot about a woman by whether she was happy before she met you. If she had her own peace, her own joy, her own gratitude, then she'll bring that into the relationship. But if she was unhappy before you, you're not going to change that. You're just the next chapter in her same old story. Ask yourself a few questions. Was she content with her life before you came along? Does she take responsibility for her own emotions? Or does she blame everyone else when she's upset? Does she practice gratitude? Does she have realistic expectations? Or is she chasing a fantasy that doesn't exist? If the answer to those questions is no, then you were dealing with someone who has been unhappy for a very long time. And that won't change no matter how perfect you try to be. Because here's the truth that most men don't want to hear. You cannot make an unhappy woman happy. You can love her, support her, protect her, provide for her, and it still won't be enough because her happiness isn't a gift you can give. It's a choice she has to make for herself. And if she won't, then nothing you do will ever fill that gap. You'll just drain yourself trying. The sad part is, the world keeps telling men to try harder, to be more understanding, more patient, more emotional, more everything. And the more men give, the more they're blamed when it doesn't work. But the truth is simple. You can't light someone else's candle if theirs is soaked in water. Some women finally learn this after a few failed relationships. After losing good men who genuinely cared, they realized the problem wasn't the men. It was them. They were chasing perfection instead of connection, validation instead of peace. And sometimes that realization hits too late, but most never get there. Because it's easier to stay angry than to change. Easier to complain than to be grateful. Easier to play the victim than to take ownership. And we live in a culture that rewards victims more than it rewards people who take responsibility. That's why unhappiness spreads. From mother to daughter, from friend to friend, from post to post. It's contagious. The truth is, there's only one cure for all of it. Responsibility. When a woman finally understands that her happiness is her own job, not her partner's, everything changes. When she stops comparing, stops blaming, stops performing, and just starts being, she finds peace. But that takes courage. And courage is rare these days. So for men, the lesson is this. Stop trying to fix what you didn't break. If you find yourself constantly apologizing, constantly defending, constantly trying to make someone else happy, stop. Step back. Look at the pattern. Because if she was unhappy before you, she'll be unhappy after you too. Her happiness isn't your fault, and it's not your responsibility. You can offer love, respect, and effort, but you can fill a hole that was there long before you showed up. And once you see that clearly, you stop wasting your energy trying to win a game that can't be won. You start realizing that your peace, your strength, your sanity matter too. That's the thing no one tells you. Sometimes walking away isn't giving up. It's refusing to be destroyed by someone else's misery. Some men spend years trying to make sense of why they were never enough for someone who never knew how to be happy. But once you understand it wasn't about you, something clicks. You stop trying to be the cure for someone else's disease. You stop trying to fill their emptiness. You stop carrying their pain as your burden. Because happiness, real happiness, doesn't come from what you get. It comes from what you build inside yourself. And until she learns that, she'll keep searching for it in men, in money, in attention, in everything that fades. And no matter what she finds, it'll never be enough. That's why you can't save her. That's why she's always unhappy. But you can choose differently. You can choose peace. You can choose to stop taking blame for things you didn't cause. You can choose to build your own happiness instead of trying to earn someone else's. Because in the end, the real truth is simple. You can fix a woman who doesn't want to fix herself. You can only save yourself.